Today, we're going to talk about the secret life of plants. And yeah, it turns out that stuff that makes you sneeze, it is so much weirder and more alien than you could possibly imagine.
Okay, just imagine this for a second. What if we found out there was an alien species living right here, among us? But their way of reproducing was, well, it was just totally bizarre. It would flip everything we thought we knew on its head.
So instead of the big, adult aliens finding a mate, they just pop out these tiny little creatures. Just release them out into the world.
And get this, it's these little guys that have to do all the work. They're the ones who have to run around, find another tiny creature, and then they're the ones that mate.
And here's where it gets really wild. After they mate, these mini aliens, they just die. But their babies grow up to be the normal big aliens. And then the whole crazy cycle just starts all over again. I mean, that would be insane, right?
Well, what if I told you that this completely bizarre kind of alien baby-making strategy is happening right now, all around us? And those weird little mating creatures? Yep, that's pollen.
Okay, I know exactly what you're thinking right now. Wait a minute, isn't pollen just plant sperm? We've all heard that, right, for our whole lives. Well, it turns out it's one of the biggest misconceptions in biology. It's just not true. So, to really get why, let's just be super clear on what sperm actually is. A sperm is just a single reproductive cell. That's it. It's super fragile, it has to have a moist environment to survive, and even then, it's only going to last for a few hours, maybe a couple of days at best. When you put them side by side, the difference is just huge. Sperm, single cell, needs to stay wet, dead in hours. Pollen, it's a whole multicellular plant. It can survive being totally dry for months. Think about it. If you're a plant stuck in the ground, just flinging delicate little sperm cells into the wind, that's not going to work, right? It's a total failure. Plants needed a much, much tougher delivery system.
And this is where it gets really mind-blowing. That better strategy wasn't just a tougher cell. It was to create pollen as its own, separate, tiny little plant. So you gotta think of a pollen grain as this tiny little male plant basically sent out into the big wide world on a mission. It's a whole living thing. It's tough enough to survive a crazy journey and just bide its time, waiting for the perfect moment to find its mate.
And of course, there's a counterpart. The female mini-plant is called the embryo sac, and you've probably never even heard of it, and that's because it never leaves home. It's another whole, living plant, just tucked away safely deep inside the flower, waiting for its little traveler to finally show up.
All right, so we've got our two mini plants, the tough little traveler and the one waiting patiently at home. So, what happens when their epic journey finally connects? How is a seed actually made?
Okay, once that pollen grain lands on the right flower, it is go time. Its mission kicks into high gear. First, it literally builds a tube, tunneling its way down towards the embryo sac. And only then, at the absolute last possible second, the pollen itself creates two sperm cells. It sends them down the tube, one fertilizes the egg, and that becomes an embryo. The embryo then becomes the seed, ready to grow into a big new plant. So you see, pollen isn't sperm. It's the delivery vehicle that makes the sperm right at the finish line. It's incredible. And this whole two-phase system, the big plant makes a mini plant, and the mini plant does the mating. This isn't just some weird, quirky thing. This is the fundamental game plan for pretty much every single land plant out there.
The official name for this is alternation of generations, and it's pretty cool. For most of the flowering plants we see, the big plant is like us. It's got two sets of DNA. But its mini plant kids, the pollen and the embryo sac, they only have one set. But what's really wild is that for some plants, like moss, it's totally flipped. That green fuzzy moss you see actually only has one set of DNA, and its tiny little reproductive part has two. It's the complete opposite.
This just shows you how incredibly clever plant evolution is. This complex and, let's be honest, totally alien-sounding strategy, it's the universal playbook. It's used by everything from a giant redwood tree down to the tiniest little flower in your yard.
So, look, the next time you're having a bad allergy day, just try to remember what's really going on. That stuff making you sneeze isn't just some random dust. It's a tiny, tough, complex, airborne plant on a mission. This alien strategy isn't from some distant galaxy. It's happening right here, right now, in every single tree, every flower, and every blade of grass all around you.